Welcome back to Video Champions. I'm Howard Wolpoff, your host. Again, we're talking about video and all the strong things that companies are doing with regard to video and their marketing and branding. We also have our co-host with us today, Andrew Cardy. So Andrew, welcome to this conversation.
Thanks so much, Howard. Happy to be here.
Well, let's jump in quickly. I think collaboration is very important when it comes to developing video.
Yep.
What kind of role do you see with collaboration?
I think collaboration is absolutely key. I mean, when I was first growing my first video business, I really found out that I love certain parts of the production piece. And this other part I wasn't great at. So I was able to collaborate with people that were excellent there. And what that did was it gave me the opportunity to give a better product to my clients, and even the clients to have a better experience working with me, because I was in the best role collaborating with them in that way.
Yeah, it's great when it's a team effort, when there's a lot of different thought, it really makes for a better product.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's add to this conversation. I want to have with us our guest, Jordan Berns from JSB Video. Jordan, welcome to this conversation as well.
Thank you.
So you have a very big role in collaborating with companies with video. What is really the starting point in the conversation you have when you have a client come in to develop video with you?
I think it's really important to start with goals, right? Video is a powerful tool for developing all kinds of different business solutions. And so first thing I do with clients is I ask, what are you trying to get out of this? And then we can tailor our approach to that.
Well, it's great to have that starting point, but I'm sure they have come in with a lot of ideas, a lot of thoughts, and with your experience, you may know whether those ideas will work and may not work. So how do you handle situations like that, and where do you go with that part of the conversation?
I think it goes on a case-by-case basis. You have to sit with the client and really educate them on what works and what doesn't. I've had experiences in the past where, a client comes with maybe the wrong idea, right? And you have to sit down with them and explain, in our experience, we're the experts, you're the ones bringing us in, we'll kind of guide you through and maybe find a middle ground to see where we can find where they think their solution is and where we think the solution is.
That's fantastic, Jordan. I think one of the things I really appreciate about getting a chance to look at your work and obviously the chance to meet you is that you've been able to apply that solutions to a lot of different places, from the Africans in sports to working with Deloitte. Do you find that there's some common themes for you in terms of your enjoyment of the collaboration, regardless of where you're landing? I
think for me, it's always come down to storytelling. And that's why video is such a powerful medium. Like you mentioned, Africans in sports, there's a story there that's very different from Deloitte, but I find enjoyment in figuring out what that story is. I love asking questions. I love meeting with new clients and just meeting different people who are doing great, interesting things. And I can get really curious and kind of nerdy about that.
Yeah, I feel the same way, Jordan. It's like I'm an insatiable curiosity to discover it. And so the other thing I'd love to ask you is, in your experience in video production and growing your business and growing your brand, where have you found collaboration with other creatives most beneficial for you, either progressing the career or building, fine-tuning your skills? Where have you seen that benefit you most?
Well, you mentioned it at the beginning of the episode, Andrew, about bringing people into the production that add extra value that you might not have. I got the privilege of working with a lot of people who've had way more experience than I have, who have brought a lot more value to some of our bigger projects. It's allowed me to learn, allowed me to add extra value to my clients, and of course, add value to my business, being able to provide these higher quality services. It's a collaborative medium. You can't do everything by yourself. You need skilled teams, and the better your team is, the better the product is.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I started out the same way. Somebody who was much more qualified than me was like, I want to work with you. And then we started out, and 20 years later, we're still in it, My last question for you, Jordan, would be, what is one piece of advice you might give for somebody that's just starting out? That's just saying, I love making films, I love storytelling. What do they need to know to take that first step in pursuing this as a career?
That's a great question. And I think it comes to just trying to get out there. If you love this, when I first started this, I was making no money for years, barely any money, just enough to scrape by. And it's, you've got to offer your services at whatever price you can just to get the experience and build that portfolio. And eventually over time, what I found, at least in my career, was, one project kind of led to the next, the budget started to get bigger. And then all of a sudden I looked around and I was like, wow, we actually have a decent sized business here when we're doing large scale projects, and it happens quicker than you expect.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's great that you've had that growth. You've learned from a lot of people, and you've really seen the not just the growth in your business, but the growth in the types of projects you've been able to work with your clients, and it clearly shows. And we appreciate you sharing this with the audience to us. And thank you for being here today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And thank you all for joining us as well. Having that right team, learning from experience and utilizing that on each and every other project you're working on really shows the strength of the company, and really a better product as time goes on. Definitely want to make sure you're putting out your best foot forward when you're creating video. So go out, have a great rest of today, and we will see you next time.